Let me just say a few words. It's a thrill as a gay man to be at the scene of the crime that has happened in the last month, and to stand in solidarity with our labor activist brothers and sisters and our GLBTQ brothers and sisters in saying no to discrimination and exploitation here in San Diego in California. I see this effort as a labor of love, and to paraphrase one of my heroes, Harvey Milk, I've come today to recruit you in that labor of love. We've discovered this fall that it's easy to be in bed with Doug Manchester. It's easy to find excuses to stay in the Hyatt Hotel, excuses that compromise one's principles. It's easy to find reasons to suggest that those of us who say no to discrimination and exploitation are troublemakers or unduly political. It's too easy, we've discovered this fall, to queer bait and race bait and divide and conquer, when in fact we should be standing together and saying no to discrimination and exploitation. So I've come here today to try to recruit you and all of my fellow members and colleagues of NCA to join in this labor of love and this love of labor. My hero, Harvey Milk, who died in November of 1978, understood very clearly that a coalition politic between labor and gay and lesbian people was essential, that there is no distinction, that they are inextricably bound. And one of his key principles was that in order to fight, one must come out. And I think he meant a couple of things by that. The first thing that he meant, of course, is that you can't fight against discrimination and exploitation if you're in the closet. But he also meant, of course, that you have to be out about your politics. It's not enough to stay in the Hyatt and say, I agree with you in spirit, but get into the beds that were made by exploitation and the mattresses that were turned by exploitation. You have to be out and say publicly, I disagree with exploitation and discrimination, and I say no to it, and I'm going to stand with all of those who will stand with me in order to ensure that all people have full equality. The other thing that I think is important to note as communication scholars, it's already been referenced, is that it's not enough to teach public speaking, but you have to speak out against injustice. It's not enough to teach about personal relationships, but you must stand up for the full equality of all people in personal relationships in the U.S. It's not enough to teach about organizational communication, but you have to speak out against the discriminatory practices that happen within organizations when you witness them, and say no to exploitation and discrimination. The last thing I would say about labor of love is that these sorts of efforts tend to have the passion and tenacity and dedication that ultimately results in their triumph. People who labor for love and love for labor will ultimately win this battle as long as we all stand together and say no against discrimination and exploitation. So I encourage you to join me in recruiting all of those who would engage with me and with all of you in this great moment of solidarity to join a labor of love. Thanks.